Those children. We're here on a final hearing. Ms. Schulte is with us for the department. Mr. Adams is with us representing the children. Ms. Grant is with us representing the mother, Ms. Elizondo, who is with us. The alleged father to Vida, Mr. Duran, is not with us. And the acknowledged father as to Zainada, Mr. Gonzalez, is also not with us. And I don't know about Casa. Well, okay, we've got Heidi with us. Okay, so Casa's with us also. That counts for everyone.
Tamara Ring is my worker for this case.
Okay.
Judge, and Patricia is the advocate for the case.
Okay, get her in too.
Judge, I believe we have an agreement in lieu of a final hearing today because the children were just placed back home with mom about 2 weeks ago to reset the final hearing out at least 2 months and hold a permanency hearing today in lieu of a final.
Okay. Anybody object to that? All right, then we will treat today's hearing as a permanency hearing. Doesn't look like we have any problem with the dismissal date in a couple of months out. So, all right, we will proceed as a permanency hearing. You may call your witness.
I call Tamara Ring. Are they currently placed back home with their mother, Tiffany Elizondo?
Yes, they are.
What date were they placed back home?
On August 14th.
How are they doing?
They're doing well. Vita's very happy to be home with her mom.
Have you visited them in the home since their return?
Yes, I have.
Is the home safe and appropriate?
Yes.
Plenty of food, everything, appropriate sleeping arrangements, everything she needs to meet their needs.
Yes.
Are there any services that Ms. Elizondo is still engaged in at this time?
No, not at this time.
Is there anything that she needs help with that we are continuing to help her with?
She's struggling a little bit financially at this time, and so we're trying to help her locate some resources to help her with some of that financial burden.
Were there some concerns raised over the last few days that the children may be having contact with Juan Cano, one of the gentlemen that the altercation led to the removal of the children?
Yes, there are concerns about that.
Did you visit the home last night?
Yes, I did.
Was there any evidence of him living in the home?
No, there wasn't.
Objection calls for speculation.
Overruled.
You can answer.
Oh, no, there was not any indication that there's a man living in the home right now.
And did Ms. Elizondo deny that he was living in the home?
Yes, she did.
Has Ms. Elizondo drug screened since the children were returned?
Yes, she has.
Was that a UA or a hair strand?
It was a UA.
Has she completed a hair strand drug screen? When was the last time she was sent for a hair strand?
In June.
Would you ask that she be ordered to complete a hair strand since it has been a while since she completed one and the kids have been returned?
Yes.
Is there anything else that you're asking be ordered today?
I do not believe so.
Do the children remain current on medical and dental care?
Yes, they do.
Have any special services for the children been able to be set back up in their placement with their mother?
Zenaida's nurse that's there during the day with her was able just to transfer Zenaida's care back to mom. And she's gotten her occupational therapy and speech therapy set up. I know they were working on physical therapy because it had stopped for a little bit due to Zenaida having being in a hip brace, but they were getting that resumed.
Does Ms. Elizondo continue to maintain employment?
Yes, she does.
Is there anything else the court needs to know about either the children or Ms. Elizondo and her participation in services?
I did not believe so.
Have you had any contact with either of the fathers in this case, either Richard Gonzalez or Juan Duran?
No, I have not.
And has Ms. Elizondo provided you with any new information as to how they might be located?
No, she has not.
Are you asking that the department be continued as the children's temporary managing conservator
Yes.
and that their placement with their mother be continued
Yes.
and that the final hearing be set out at least 2 months so that we can continue to monitor the placement with mother?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness.
All right, thank you. And the name of the man that was involved in the altercation, was it Juan Cano?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And may I add something?
Yes, ma'am.
The other concern that we have is that Tiffany's lease and her bills are in Juan's name.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Grant?
Ma'am, is it correct that the children were returned home without the Social Security payments and services being restored to the mother?
So with this, there's an issue with the Social Security deposit. The automatic deposit to DFPS somehow was rerouted, and so DFPS did not receive payment from Social Security, and so they were not able to send out the check for August. It is being investigated. I've been in contact with DFPS. They're following up on it, and we're trying to get that issue fixed as soon as possible.
But one of the concerns you raised just now in this case is her financial situation, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you agree that that was complicated slightly by something that's out of the control of DFPS or the mother at this point this month?
Yes.
Okay. And are you aware that she did get her rent paid and all of her bills paid this month, even though she did not receive that payment?
I was not aware that she got her rent paid for September. When I met with her last night, she was still trying to figure it out.
Okay. So if I represent to you that she has figured that out, you would have no reason to disagree with that, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And will you keep the mother and my office informed as to the investigation regarding the Social Security payments that have been rerouted by the Social Security Administration inadvertently?
Yes, I can keep you both updated as I get the updates.
Great. Thank you so much. And the UA that was completed was just done Tuesday, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And is there any reason why we didn't go ahead and get that hair follicle done Tuesday because of the inability to miss work so many times for the mother?
It hadn't been 3 months.
Okay. So you still needed to wait for the appropriate interval to expire before you could request another hair strand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And on the bills and the rent, has the mother agreed that she can get those put into her name at the point that her credit and financial situation will allow?
We discussed it last night. I told her, she didn't confirm or not confirm if she was going to do it or not, but I did offer to,
Okay.
to help her.
My apologies. Do you believe she understood the necessity to do that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Pass the witness, Sharner.
All right, Mr. Adams?
Yes, Ms. Ring, is she living in the same apartment where the incident occurred that caused the removal?
No, sir, she is not.
So she's moved since that time?
Yes, she's living in Amarillo in a rent house.
Do you know when that lease began?
I do not.
Okay, but
I
you
know
know
it's been a little while.
but you know the lease is in Mr. Cano's name.
Yes, sir. I confirmed with the landlord this week.
Okay. The kids seem to be doing fine. Is that correct?
Yes, they seem to be doing good.
Okay, I'll pass the witness.
All right, Anyone have further questions for Ms. Ring?
No further questions.
All right then. Okay. Ms. Schulte, do you have any other witnesses?
I would briefly call Tiffany Elizondo.
Ms. Schulte?
Ms. Elizondo, I'll be brief. Do you understand that a big part of the reason your children came into the custody of the department was because of the incident that occurred with Juan Cano?
Yeah,
And do you understand that part of your reunification plan is that the children not have contact with him?
yeah, and he has it.
Do you understand that if we are able to show that he is, that there is a good possibility that we will be asking the court to remove the children?
Objection called for legal conclusion.
Overrule. You can answer, Ms. Elizondo.
I understand. And that's why he's not here.
Are you still having contact with him?
Since I got the girls back, we haven't had contact. He went his own way. Yes, everything's under his name, but because he helped me when the girls were out of my custody, he helped me come into Amarillo. He helped me get my services done. He helped me do everything I needed to do. And I've been doing it, by myself. I got my job. I got everything. But as soon as, I was told the girls were going to come home, when I was allowed to bring them home for the weekend and everything, he decided to go his way and we lost contact. Like, I really don't know where he's at. His mother don't know where he's at or anything. And she's the one that, she's helped me here and there as much as she can, because she's the one that got the house for us and everything in order for me to get the girls back. But he understands he can't be here if he wasn't going to cooperate, So it was just best for him to go his way, because I don't need nobody else involved in my case of me losing my kids. If I can stay sober by myself and do by myself, I'm going to do by myself for these girls.
Okay. That's all I have. I'll pass the witness.
Ms. Grant, any questions?
No questions, Judge.
Mr. Adams?
No question, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Schulte, any other witnesses?
No additional witnesses expressed.
All right. Ms. Grant, any witnesses?
No, Judge, we rest.
All right. Mr. Adams, recommendations?
Recommend that we continue with the court continue with the monitored return and order the hair strand test.
Okay. All right then. And CASA, anything to add?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, then I will continue the department's temporary manage the conservator, continue the children's current placement with their mother. I'll order there be no contact between the children and Juan Cano. And I heard a little testimony about, well, she had a hair strand test this week and she's got a job. So I'm going to order that Ms. Elizondo hair strand by 4 p.m. on next Friday, September 8th, 2023. That'll give her time to work around her work schedule. We should have probably gotten that test this week, but I understand why we didn't. So, okay, I'll set a final for November 17th, 2023. That will be by Zoom like today's hearing, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or two before November 17th to see what time that hearing will take place. Children, we're here on an adversary hearing. Ms. Gutierrez is with us for the department. Mr. Ingram could not be with us today. He's attorney ad litem for the children. However, he sent me his recommendations. Mr. Jackson's with us representing the father, Mr. Alexander, who we'll cover this in a minute. I still show he's an alleged father. Mr. Onho is with us representing the mother, Miss Hall, who is also with us. The alleged father, David Hall, and alleged father, Raul Gonzalez, they are not with us. They're not in my waiting room. This case was set for 9:30. It's now 9:42. We will proceed in their absence. And real quickly, before we get started, Mr. Alexander, if you would unmute, please. All right. You have been pled as what's called an alleged father. However, I gave you an attorney. I'm assuming maybe on that form that you filled out for a court-appointed attorney, you checked the box that you acknowledged that you were the father to Skylar. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You can discuss this with your lawyer if you want. Since you are, I can find that you are the father based solely on you checking that box, but I'll let you talk to Mr. Jackson. We don't have to do this today, but you do have the right to genetic testing to prove you are or you're not the father to Skylar. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
I'll let you discuss it with Mr. Jackson when you want. We don't have to deal with that today, but at some point I'll probably need to adjudicate you if you acknowledge you are the father. So
Judge, if I may, had that discussion with Mr. Alexander and let him know what his options were. And Mr. Alexander, if I'm incorrect, please say so, but it's my understanding that there's no doubt in his mind that he's the father of this child. Is that correct?
That is correct. I am his father.
Okay.
Then we'll go ahead then, and we'll just take care of that today as a housekeeping. Part of my ruling today, I will find that you are the biological father of Skylar. Okay, got that out of the way. So Ms. Gutierrez, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. The parties have reached an agreement for the children to remain in the temporary managing conservatorship for the department and for the parents to be named as temporary possessory conservators. Parents are willing to work services, and the department has made reasonable efforts to prevent removal, as well as we will do so ongoing to reunify the family. In addition to that, there is an agreement for increased visitation for both Tabitha and Joel. They will have 2 hours of weekly visitation with the children. And my understanding is that Joel is participating in visitation with all the children with Tabitha.
Okay. All right. Ms. Ronho, is this your client's agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Jackson, is this your client's agreement?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Ingram's recommendation, since he couldn't be here, was that the department continue as temporary managing conservator and the children's current placement remain as is. That having been said, for my records, I need to know where the children are placed and what type of facility.
Melissa, can you answer that question, please?
The children are placed in a foster home in Panhandle.
And they're all together?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. That's what I needed. All right, then. I think I've announced that. I will go ahead based on Mr. Alexander's testimony today. I do find that Joel Alexander is in fact the biological father of Skylar, and I will establish that parent-child relationship today. And I think department will be continued as temporary managing conservator. Parents will be named possessory conservators. The children's placements will be continued, and the parents' visitation will be increased as announced by Ms. Gutierrez today. So, all right. I appreciate you working that out. That will conclude this hearing on August 28th. So we'll stand in recess. Ms. Wiggins is with us for department. Mr. Ingram is the child's attorney ad litem. He's not with us today. However, he has sent me his recommendation. Ms. Archer is with us representing Mr. O'Brien. Ms. Archer, I showed that he was incarcerated. Is he still incarcerated?
He's still incarcerated, and I've spoken to him this morning. He's okay with me appearing for him.
Okay, thank you. All right, and then Mr. Taylor's with us for the mother, Miss Oakley, who is with us.
And Mr. Taylor, is this agreed now or?
No, it is not.
Okay, then Judge, I'm going to have to ask for a continuance. I filed the drug screen results on August 30th. And so I would ask for a continuance to September 18th so I can get that further information into the court.
You need that time for your business records?
That's correct, Judge.
Okay. All right. All right, then any objections to that?
Your Honor, we would stipulate to that so that it can be entered today. And if that's the only basis for the request for continuance, I would check.
Are you good with that, Ms. Wiggins, or do you want to continue?
Judge, I would still like the continuance. I had anticipated this being agreed. Maybe that was obviously my mistake. But I don't know if my officers will be available to pop on this short notice. I apologize, Judge.
I mean, I can see my notes from the first adversary before we decided to wait for the drug screen results was we thought it was agreed then, so I can understand why you felt that way. So, okay, I will grant the department's motion for continuance. Let's see, Haley, what date did you need it past the 18th?
So I was thinking that September 18th at 1:30, if that's agreeable for Mr. Taylor.
So with 1:30, you said, Ms. Wiggins?
I have no objection.
Okay. All right, then I will grant the department's motion for continuance. I'll reset this case to September 18th, 2023 at 1:30. We will stand in recess then. So that was our last case for this morning. So everyone have a good weekend.